Alright folks, it's Saturday morning, and personally I can't think of anything I'd rather do my Saturday mornings than recap about everything I've seen, played over the last 2 months. Let's do it. Alright folks, let's start it off with Murderville, which is of course a Netflix series, a comedy special. I think only 6, maybe 7 episodes with Will Arnett in the lead, sort of a detective, and it's improv comedy, right? And you know, obviously that's bound to pretty much always be funny. Obviously it depends on who you have. Some guests are better than others, but it's perfectly sufficient entertainment, you know. Very enjoyable. Pretty much everybody will like it. Of course, you know, the premise there is interesting as well, sort of a detective thing. And I just think it's a very adaptable premise that can be used for multiple seasons. I'm sure they will continue it. I don't know how successful it was, but it can't be too expensive to make. Just get some more good guest stars. Keep the interesting, you know, plots coming. And Murderville will be a smash hit continually. I'm going to give Murderville a B. You know, it's nothing spectacular, but it's exactly what it's trying to be, and it does that well. Next up, folks, another show is going to be Upload Season 2. Now, I watched Season 1. I was a fan of Season 1. You know, I thought it was, obviously, the Good Place comparisons were sort of inevitable. I thought it was different than The Good Place, but it explored the same concepts. And I thought, you know, 2 different realities. If you were to make the same show, you would sort of get The Good Place and Upload, and both would be, you know, good in their own right. And then you get to this season, which I breezed through. I absolutely breezed through. I was not expecting them to release the whole show in one night because, you know, I know Prime sometimes does the whole weekly episode thing. I absolutely breezed through it, and I have to say I did not particularly enjoy this. It felt that a lot of the themes they're exploring, they're still there, but not being explored as, you know, nuanced as I remember it being. The comedy, you know, doesn't really work for me, although in Season 1 I'm not sure it really did either. And just the main thing here is that it feels so much like a soap opera. And it's just, it feels, you know, I don't really remember Season 1, so it's not fair for me to say. And to be honest, I'm a little nervous to return to it now after watching Season 2. It seems like it lost a lot of the complexities it was trying to explore about this idea for the sake of just creating a basic television show, and that's unfortunate. I forgot to score it, but Upload Season 2 is going to be a C, unfortunately. I just did not enjoy it. Next up, folks, is going to be Elden Ring. And I know, obviously, this is just one of the most hyped games I've seen in a long, long time. Well, actually, that's not true. You know, Cyberpunk, just 2019 was also pretty hyped. But 2019, right? Or was it last year? No, it was 2020. Wow. All right. Time is, I don't know. Okay. Anyway. So Elden Ring was hyped is the point I'm trying to make. And I understand the hype. I get that people love these Souls games. I completely understand that. And you know, there's a certain just a pride to being able to complete such a difficult game, and then also just the technical achievement that is Elden Ring. As I understand it, the other Souls games are not open world, and so to create such a vast landscape for the player to explore, to upgrade, just the scope of which has never been seen before, I certainly respect the technical achievement here, and I'm very glad that a lot of people are enjoying this game as much as they are. For me personally, and I should have known this before I picked it up, to be honest with you, I do say I have to regret purchasing it, just because it's not my kind of game. I knew that going in, but I still bought it just because, again, the hype was off the charts, just everybody recommending it nonstop. Some people, you know, saying, you know, even if it's your first Souls game, which of course it is for me, you might enjoy it. You know, I'm obviously not going to be buying the next one, but that's not to say, you know, I'm still obviously rooting for the success of Elden Ring. I can see why people like it. I understand, and again, I appreciate the technical achievement here, but it's not my kind of game. I'm not a fan. First of all, the fantasy elements are just generally not my favorite thing. The difficulty, obviously. How much time is required to sort of sink in, and then just the upgrading class system. It's all so overwhelming, and just that's not really the kind of game I like. You know, I do tend to prefer the more, you know, simplistic. I'm a simple kind of guy. I like the simplistic elements of a game, and Elden Ring is a very complex game, to say the least. So I'm going to give Elden Ring a C just off of personal enjoyment, I'm afraid, in terms of, you know, a game. I didn't even really get that far. I played for like just under 10 hours, I think, if you look. So I did play this quite a bit. And what I did, I was really just roaming around and just killing. I spent a lot of time in this one, like cave or whatever, just exploring the world and its various things. And I probably will never complete it, but I probably might pick it up again someday. But I just really felt no need to return to this one. I've sort of lost all motivation. So Elden Ring is a C. Next up, folks, is Pixar's film Turning Red. I was going to make a review about this when it came out, but I didn't for whatever reason. It's enjoyable, right? It's not bad by any means. There's been a lot of discourse around this one, and just the idea of not being able to enjoy the film because it's not about your experiences, which I don't really understand that per se, because I think film is intended to sort of show other perspectives and experiences. And if you didn't like it for another reason, that's fine. I just find that criticism to be a little ridiculous. But I will say that I've noticed with Onward, it started in 2020, Luca last year, and now Turning Red. That's 3 films, almost in a row. There was one in between, wasn't there? Soul was after Onward, which was pretty good. But these 3 have sort of been mediocre Pixar, and that's fine. They feel a lot more like other studios' works. Not particularly, Pixar could not always uphold the legacy that it once held, like from 1995, Toy Story, to about 2010. They just created some of the greatest films ever made, right? Absolutely phenomenal films. And then after that, they sort of, there were some really bad ones there in the 2010s. And then it's sort of evened out since then. And it seems like, this might be where they're headed for the next few years, for the next decade or so, of just fine films. They're not bad. They're certainly enjoyable. They don't have really too much to offer. They don't sit with you for too long. But they are fine, fun watches while they last. And Turning Red is another example of that, It's fun to watch. The themes it explores are certainly great. The animation style is fresh. It's unique. I really like the score in this one by Ludwig Göransson. I really appreciated that element of this film, and that was the only thing I would even call better than just good, right? Like everything else was just standard in this film. But Turning Red is fine. It's a B. Then I saw Deep Water, the Ana de Armas and Ben Affleck Hulu thriller, and it was not good at all. Really nothing of value here besides, actually, I would say, the performances, which shouldn't really surprise you. These are some top-tier actors working today. And the plot is ridiculous. The script is ridiculous. And frankly, nothing is... it's a ridiculous film that is not thrilling. It is not particular. It doesn't really fire on any of the cylinders it's trying to work on. And so Deep Water leaves Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas with almost nothing to work with, creating for a dull, pretty laughable at times, to be honest with you. I do recall laughing at some of the lines of dialogue here. Film that will probably go down as one of the worst of the year, unfortunately. Next up, I saw The Outfit, and I've had a bit of an odd relationship with this one because I was actually pretty hyped for going in. I knew very little, but that sort of drew me in. That was part of the intrigue. And then I saw it, and I did not enjoy it that much. Well, I did enjoy it. I gave it a B upon leaving. And it was mainly because I really liked the plot, the premise here, and the idea that it's sort of all set in this one location, play style almost. And I really enjoyed Mark Rylance's performance. I really thought he was incredible, but I was genuinely shocked by how just about every other performance in the film, was not good. They were actually bad. They weren't just like not as good as Mark Rylance, because obviously, I can understand that. That would be difficult to replicate, but they were genuinely not good. His secretary, played by Zoe Dutch, I believe, was not good. The 2 mob friends, Dylan O'Brien and then I forgot the other guy, they're not good. They're caricatures of mob guys, and they completely took me out of the film. But then, it sat with me. And these guys are all, like, as far as side characters go, they're the 3 main side characters. So, it's no small thing that they're just genuinely not good and take you out of it. But it sat with me. And the more it sat with me, the more I liked it. The more I forgot the performances. If I were to watch it again, that problem may come up again. And if I were to rate it on two different scales, one of actual quality and one of how much I liked it, I think I would probably like it more than actual quality, just because, again, the performances are really lacking here. But everything else, is pretty good. And again, that premise really saves it. And since Mark Rylance is the key to the film here, it works for me. And so I have to say that I did enjoy the outfit. It is still going to be a B, a high B nonetheless. But the outfit is good and, worthy of checking out. And then I caught up on Cyrano, a February film that had been on my radar for quite some time. There was some Oscar buzz at one point, and I just did not enjoy this. Cyrano is going to be a C because it is, first of all, the story is unoriginal. When I saw the trailer, I'm like, wow, this is just, and I'm sure, this isn't the first example to do it, but I watched a film a few years ago. It was called, The Half of It. It was called The Half of It. It was a Netflix film by Alice Wu, and it was fine. It was pretty mediocre. But again, this storyline has sort of been done before. The lover who can't reveal their love for one reason or another, and they have to write letters for another person. Yeah, we've seen it. And Cyrano's doing that, and it's not doing it better. And Peter Dinklage's performance got a lot of praise. I'm personally not as high in it as I think everyone else is, but it's certainly good. I can recognize that. But it doesn't save the film. And the shocking thing here is that Cyrano is, of course, a musical with no good songs, I would say. There's not a song I remember. There's not a song that I plan on listening to again, which is pretty rare with musicals. You would think at least maybe one of the songs would have been good. I could tell you the name of 2 songs off the top of my head, but it is remarkable how the songs here are just not good. I don't know how much thought was put into these, but yikes! It fails as a musical, fails as a film on the script level. Generally, something I will not be returning to it. It's not egregious per se. It's just so forgettable and unenjoyable. Cyrano's a C. Then I caught up on The Crown Season 3 and Season 4. I'm actually not done with Season 4, but I did want to get this video out. I'd been procrastinating on it for too long. I have 3 episodes to go, episode 8, 9, and 10. But I can say Season 3, if you'll recall, I did 2 reviews of The Crown on this channel. Season 1, I had endless praise for. I thought it was an incredible season of television, perfectly crafted, with excellent performances, a hell of an ensemble. Season 2 was still good, a step down. I think I might have given it a B, or if I gave it an A, I probably would give it a B now, but if I gave it an A, it was definitely a low A, because I remember being more harsh on it. I was just less captivated by the story. And then Season 3 didn't really work for me, I have to say. I was going to give it a C right after watching it, but I am still going to give it a B, because, again, it is technically proficient. I remember liking more about the season than I disliked still, so it did generally have a positive impact on me. And there are some episodes, here that I do think rank among the best of the series. But for the most part, it is dragging. It is completely dragging through most of the season. The ensemble just does not come on as strong as they did in Season 1. The premise of Season 3 is not something that I'm particularly invested in. It feels like they were definitely undergoing a transition period, obviously transitioning from the cast of the first section of the series to the second section cast. And then also, you sort of bring Charles and the Queen's children into the foray here. And they didn't do the best job of adjusting. But Season 4, which again, I'm not done with, but it has been incredible. It's restored the magic of Season 1. It has already overtaken Season 2 and Season 3 in my mind, because, you have obviously the central intrigue. You have Diana here, who is just an incredible new addition to the cast. You have Margaret Thatcher, excellent performance there. And I'm telling, The Crown Season 4 just brings back everything that I loved about Season 1. It has the incredible ensemble. Truly, the cast is remarkable. Okay? I forgot his name. Josh O'Connor is his name. Playing Charles is incredible. And Emma Corrin as well as Diana is just stunning acting. I'm just blown away every time by both of those two. And then the plot here, it's really good. It's really intriguing. I love the history behind Season 4. So it's restored back, it's come back to its roots in Season 1. It's really settled into its own. I am sad already. Season 5 comes out later this year in November. I'm sad that we will not be seeing more of these people, especially, Josh O'Connor and Emma Corrin, just incredible. But I am excited to see how the show continues. And then I've watched the first time of Winning the And then I've watched the first half of Winning Time, the HBO Lakers show. This was a show I was really excited for the longest time because, again, it's an HBO show about the Lakers. I knew Adam McKay had a hand in it. You know, he's obviously a pretty prominent director, person in the industry, producer. And then I watched episode 1, and I didn't love it. I wasn't feeling it. My main criticism was that it was over-stylized a bit. Is that a word? I don't know. Hyper-stylized, a bit oversaturated in everything. The editing, the filter, Jesus, that bothered me. And, you know, it's still sort of there, and it bothers me as well. But it just didn't really, and it didn't feel like, obviously I understand why it's there. It sort of replicate the 70s aesthetic, but it didn't work for me. It sort of took me out of the story. And I do think that was in part, if I must say, Adam McKay. I like the guy. He's made some great films, but his style has gotten a big grading, I think. I noticed it with Don't Look Up, and I noticed it here as well. But then episode 2 came out. I warmed up to it a bit, and since then I've just been enthralled with every episode of the show because the story is just so good. And again, the acting is phenomenal. I'm probably more than likely going to create television categories for the Bobs, the award show that I do. Just the reason I'm doing it is because of Winning Time. I was specifically Jason Clarke's performance as Jerry West for the first bit of, he's sort of phasing out of the show, so he might not be as prominent a figure, but I was so blown away by his performance as Jerry West that I felt like I had to acknowledge it somehow. So I'm starting television categories at the Bobs. I just thought I'd let you all know. But it really, just everyone is on fire here. You have Solomon Hughes as Kareem. You have Tracy Letts as the coach, who, after the recent episode, might not be in the rest of the season so much. But then we get Jason Segel, who is also incredible. You have Quincy Isaiah as the Magic Johnson, just absolutely embodying this performance. Sally Field shows up every now and then, and she's, of course, incredible. John C. Reilly, he's all right. He's obviously doing the role well, but not something I'm in love with like I am with pretty much every member of the cast. And then again, the story here is just incredible. So while I do have some problems with the filmmaking itself, the style they're sort of approaching, Winning Time is just impossible to look over. It's an incredible season of television so far, the first 5 episodes. And episode 5 just blew me away. What an episode. If it keeps going at this rate, it's going to be remarkable television. I can't wait to see how it finishes. And then speaking of television, this is perhaps, besides Elden Ring, maybe my most controversial take of this video. It's going to be Moon Knight, which obviously episode 2 is released. We're up to episode 2. And I am not loving the show. I was really excited for it for the longest time there. Moon Knight's been, he's a dark figure. He's sort of been described as the Batman of Marvel. And then I don't know, guys. I'm really not liking it so far. First of all, again, the style here. You have things like just random freeze frames in the middle of it, in the middle of a fight scene. The tone here, it's not, on one hand it's dark, but then that doesn't necessarily feel warranted, like when he's killing people straight up, because the comedy is just so cheesy. Oscar Isaac is certainly doing a good job here. If I would praise one thing about the show, it's his performance, and I just love him as an actor. But Steven, the character he plays, he obviously plays multiple. If you've seen the show, you know. And I don't know how prominent Steven will be going forward, but I am not enjoying Steven as a character. He is grating. He's getting on my nerves all the time. I get it, whatever. That's the point. He's kind of, I would feel sympathy for him, whatever. I understand what they're trying to do. I am just not a fan of Steven. I'm not necessarily rooting for him. I don't think the show is good so far. If it were to end tomorrow, I would give it a C thus far. I am glad most other people are enjoying it. I am extremely glad that the MCU is actually trying something new. You can feel it. Moon Knight is not like the other MCU shows. It's not like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's not like Hawkeye. It's something different. It's something new. I'm not enjoying it personally, but I am glad that they're doing it, that they're trying something new, that they're letting creators create. Moon Knight so far has not been great. I'm hoping to eat my words. 4 weeks from now, maybe I'll do a full review, and I'm hoping I can say I was wrong. That might even be the title. I was wrong about Moon Knight. But as of right now, not looking too likely. I cannot tell you how excited I was about this. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. The 2022 was a hell of a year because you have The Batman, which is my most hyped film of all time, and then Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga has to be, as of right now, my most hyped game of all time. I was pretty hyped for this for the longest time. I haven't been playing games for too long, so it's not really saying a lot, at least not long enough to be hyped for something else. I can tell you when GTA 6 gets announced, that will immediately take over. But anyways, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. I love Star Wars. I love Lego. I love combining I love the nostalgia of the original. And this game, I should probably mention, first of all, I'm not finished. I'm not close to finished. I'm on Attack of the Clones. Frankly, right now, I am not very, very far. But the reason is because I've been taking my sweet time because I love the world that TT Games has created here. And I love everything that they've done. I cannot tell you, first of all, just the excitement that rushed through me while I was waiting for it that first day. And then I get in and I load it, and I really like taking, it's like when you get a new product, a new phone or something like that, you unbox it slowly, you're cherishing the moment. And that's what I'm doing with Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. I'm going in each nook and cranny, trying to find every little thing the game has to offer. And the sheer scope of this game was so overwhelming to start. I don't know if everybody had that experience, but you just walk out of Luke's hut after the first mission and just the whole wide world standing in front of you. Obviously, it's become a little more manageable now. You know, you start thinking about it more, you start playing some of the game, and you realize it's certainly doable. But I am so, I think we're all so lucky that TT Games has taken the time, put this much effort into creating such a vast open world Star Wars game. Truly a love letter to the films, one that I've absolutely enjoyed playing through thus far. It is everything I wanted it to be. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is incredible. Now, I am, a critic, so I do have to list my criticisms. That's something I got to get better about on this channel, because there's something I like. It's the reason I had to make 2 Batman videos. If there's something I like, I'm sort of averse to criticizing it, especially if those criticisms are really small. I just don't really feel like it's necessary, but I should still mention them, so I will. Just 4 things I wrote down here. Number 1, I'm not the biggest fan, again, this is just personal preference, I sort of mentioned this with Elden Ring, of upgrading stuff in games. That's not really my speed. That's not the kind of game play that I enjoy. I get that some people like it, and really here it feels like, especially with the class-specific upgrades, it feels pretty just like tacked on there for the sake of having another feature. It's fine. It's not bad by any means. It's not harming the gameplay. It's just something I don't particularly enjoy. Number 2, and then also again, this is really just a really small nitpick, is that I personally probably would have picked different mission choices for some of the films. Again, I can't bring my score of the game down or anything like that. And again, it doesn't decrease my enjoyment. I'm just saying, if I were on the development team, I probably would have picked some different missions there. Third is that there are some, less than entertaining moments here and there. It's a big game. There's a lot to do. And I'll just say, I couldn't really, I can't play this game for a long stretch of time just because it does get a little repetitive. It feels like a lot of the same stuff. But that said, the minute I take a break, I'm always wanted to come back and just get back into it, and always excited to get back into it. So it's the gift that keeps on giving, really. It's more of a positive than a negative that I can't play it for long periods of time. It means I get to spend more time with this beautiful game. And then lastly, this one is probably my biggest complaint, and it's still pretty small, which goes to show just how good of a game Lego Star Wars is that I wish there were a difficulty system. I wish there were an option to make it more difficult, specifically with things like boss fights, which are pretty easy as they stand. And I obviously understand why the game is easy. It's meant to be for all ages. But just if they were to make a game like this in the future, I think it would probably be beneficial if they had the option. If you could pick to make the villain, the boss battles harder and stuff like that. Or, pick to keep it the standard experience as it is now. It's not easy per se, it's not like a breeze to get through. I'm just saying I probably would have preferred a little more challenge at parts. So I really hope to see TT, the developers, adapt this sort of model that they've created here. I hope to see this as the standard going forward for LEGO games. I've seen the MCU mentioned. I've seen that thrown out. I think that would be awesome. I think just about any franchise, anything, bring LEGO games back. That's what the world needs, and they need it in this vein, in this style of gameplay. Bring on new members to the crew, TT. I'm sure you're making a ton of money off this game, all well-deserved. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is going to be an A, one of the best games I've played in a long time. I'm loving it. I'm not even close to done, and I could not be happier about that because I get to spend so much more time with this incredible game. And to cap off this video is a film I just saw recently. It's been getting a lot of praise. It's going to be Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And, obviously this film has been getting a lot of praise. It reached the Letterboxd #1 film of all time. It's getting insane reviews on just about every platform. IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, again, Letterboxd, everything, just about everything. And I was going in expecting, I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, that looks fine. And then I saw the reviews, and I'm like, wow. I was not expecting that. I have to watch it now. And then I was going in, and I was like, I'm excited. I'm definitely very excited just because of how hyped this has been at this point. But I am expecting to not like it as much as everyone else. I'm expecting it to be overrated. And I have to be honest, I really liked it. It's a really, really good. It's not an S. It's not an S tier. It's not a 5-star, which a lot of people give it. And I understand why they give it that, because it's a very good film. It's a refreshing film that we need, a breath of fresh air. But it's very good. And I can't say, I'm on the train, guys. I'm on the EEAAO train. That's how I like to call it. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. EEAAO. It's very good. First of all, the direction is incredibly inspired. I noticed a ton of unique shot choices. Just so, it's so good. There are multiple laugh out loud scenes. The film is really funny. But the real thing here that's surprising is just the heart underlying the entire film. It's so emotional. You're probably gonna get pretty close to crying, if not cry. I sort of almost, I didn't cry, but I felt it coming on at times, just because the film is sort of a universally relatable experience. If I could use one word to describe this film, it's a word I was thinking about the entire time I watched the film. It would be imaginative. This film is cinema at its peak imagination. The potential here for so many ideas, unique, it's so fun. It's so fun to go into this film and just see the zany ideas that everybody here has to offer, that everyone working on this film contributed to making this final product. It is so fun. And again, just imaginative. It is so clever, unique, fresh. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is such a good film. If I had 2 complaints about the film, it would be one that, this is again just a personal preference thing. I found some of it, the gags, to just be a little immature. I know, whatever, Ethan, you're such a square. But, I just didn't laugh at them personally. Didn't bring down my enjoyment too much. It's obviously the creators, they create whatever they want. That the kind of thing. My theater was eating it up, so who am I to criticize that part of it? Everybody else seemed to love it. And then number 2 would be that the film goes on for a little bit long, especially at the end there, where it feels like there are like 5 separate moments where it just feels like it could conclude at any moment, and you just sort of keep getting that moment where it's like, oh, and she talks to this, blah, 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 blah. But the film is still very good. The acting is incredible. The choreography is incredible. The visual effects are incredible, which I learned today is done by 7 people. The visual effects of this film, I'm just blown away. It's better visual effects than some blockbusters today, guys. Just a remarkable feat of cinema. One that I hope shines through. It becomes a classic. It already, has sort of solidified itself there. I hope regular audiences get to see it, and I'm really nervous that people are just going to respond to the praise it's received with sort of negativity, just because that's what people tend to do. If they see it as even slightly overrated, they might respond and be like, man, this film sucks, whatever. But it's a very good movie, a lot of heart, lots to enjoy here, so much fun. And it deserves the praise it's getting. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is an absolute A. I highly recommend it. Very glad I saw it. Very glad this film exists. It's incredible. All right, folks, that's been Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I'm sorry, that was a scripted line. I had to write it. Folks, I've been EDPC Reviews. Wow, we just got through, I don't know how much footage this is. It looks like a lot. I had to split it up. So this section says 22 minutes, but it's got to be at least 40 or something. Anyway, lots to cover. Folks, if you've seen or played any of the things I discussed in this video, or maybe some of your own, some things I might have missed that you want to recommend, please let me know. Give me your own thoughts on them. There's a lot to look forward to in the coming months. And hopefully, I review them sort of quicker so I don't have to do another big amalgamation video like this. But this was fun. I don't know how fun editing it will be, but I had fun here. Folks, I've been the EPC Reviews. I will see you realistically probably in 2 months when I have to do this again. Bye-bye.